Welcome everyone to the second ever episode of the Party Chat podcast. I am your host Squiggy, and joining me today we have Laura, Mike, and Slazo. Hi guys.
Hey.
Hi.
How is everyone?
A lot better than I was last week.
I'm still bitter about last week's top 50, so.
But you know, it got voted in.
I know, but there was a lot of judgment and hate.
Yeah, but it got voted in. You can't complain.
Well, I can, I just did.
Well, you just did, but you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You should be nice, be kind. We're all a lovely, happy family here.
I'm just ready for another exciting episode.
I'm glad you are. So, this week we'll start by looking at some of the top news stories from the week, and then we'll move on to our topic of the week, and we'll round the podcast off with the Salt Mine and inducting another game into our top 50 list. So we'll jump straight into the news. This week, Halo 5 multiplayer was detailed. This is for the arena mode. This made me really, really excited for Halo. I don't know if anyone else has read through the article and what they think.
I wrote it, so.
Oh well, Laura.
Really?
I was going to say, I actually really wanted Halo reading it. Like, it just made me so nostalgic and.
Okay, because I'm intrigued, because I read through the article as well. What about it? Because it just read to me like, oh, it's multiplayer with some modes.
It was the nostalgia-ness, it's just having such an organised mode, and I just like the ranking system. And
hang on, wait, roll it back. I haven't read the article. Enlighten me.
Okay, Squee, do you want to do this, or should I?
I can do it, I don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
So basically, everyone who starts playing Halo 5, the arena mode, everyone starts on the same level. You've got exactly the same weapons and abilities, which is basically like what Halo used to be. And then what happens is power-ups appear on the map, and you compete over them. People can't join games in progress because of the ranking system, which has been detailed. So basically, you play 10 games in this arena mode, and then you get a rank. And the rank's based on how well you've done for those first 10 games, I believe. And you can get bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, onyx, and champion. I'll be a champion. And in those
champion.
And in those different like levels, there's 6 tiers in that rank, and you've got to progress up and down. So it's quite interesting.
Okay, so far,
so it's exactly like Halo 3.
Basically, it's like leaderboards in a way, but it's a more level playing field because you don't join a game with the team getting absolutely annihilated halfway through and lose the game and lose some of your rank. So you actually
you don't go down a rank though. You only lose your progress towards the next rank.
Yeah, you can never actually drop a rank. Yeah.
It sounds like a ranked mode.
Yeah, but it seems more fair in a way because of how you don't join a game halfway through, lose half your.
Oh yeah.
So
and the ban hammer.
Yeah, the ban hammer is the next part I was going to get to. So basically, if you quit matches consistently, you'll get banned from playing for a certain amount of time. If you do any team killing, which you know what happens in Halo, it happens quite a bit, you'll get banned as well for a time. Anyone who jumps into a game and stands there and does absolutely nothing, they'll get banned. People who kill themselves intentionally will get banned, and people who disconnect excessively will get banned as well. And obviously, depending on which rule you break, is how long your ban's going to be.
Okay.
They've also announced they're basically turning it more into like an e-sport, but for everyone, if that makes sense. A bit more sort of competitive gaming for everyone, where there is a purpose to playing it as well, and it's not sort of jumping into half finished matches. You start from the start. You actually know what you're playing. It like makes people want to play sort of together as a team as well, I think.
But can I just clarify then? So this is like a separate
playlist,
yeah.
Playlist.
Yeah.
If you still want to just play wacky, goofy Halo,
that's all something else.
Yeah.
This is all separate.
Okay. So my initial reaction to this is maybe like I've played too much PC gaming or other genres that have already implemented this stuff, but it's not exactly anything new.
No,
like
but
this stuff is.
No, it's not groundbreaking. It's just good for Halo.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's like a nice little thing when you're reading about what's coming to Halo and.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna, like. It's nice that they've actually chosen to go this route rather than like say, Destiny, which doesn't even have ranked playlists available or anything like that. So yeah, it's definitely like good for the genre and good for Halo, but it's like I don't know. I agree with Slazo that it's not like anything to make me go, oh god, I need to buy Halo right now.
No, it's not. It's not groundbreaking, but I remember playing a lot of. I played a lot of Halo 2 and a lot of Halo 3 online, and some of the stuff that annoyed me the most was some of the stuff that you now get banned for. You know, people
Like
basically.
people stealing your ghosts.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. But like people team killing, that happened a lot when I played Halo.
Halo was probably the game I experienced the most team killing in.
And a lot of people like
And I
committing
played
suicide. You'd get some people that basically spawn, turn around, jump off the map, and start again and do exactly the same thing again. And it's well, what's the point?
Yeah.
Basically, Halo is full of idiots.
In my head, I always thought, why are you so sad, player? Why
Yeah,
are you so
yeah. So
sad?
it's good that they're sort of going to punish people for that now. So you would hope that people who you're in a team with on Halo will be playing it to win and not just.
Well, yeah, because if they're in the arena play
Yeah.
this, that's the goal. And I also like how the top level that you can achieve is for only the top 200 players.
Yeah.
So that's the only one you can get kicked out of. Not saying that I'm ever going to be that good at Halo. I like the fact that.
Nowhere near.
Thank you.
I'll take a
But-
screenshot when I get there and show you it. It's
But
alright.
I just like how that sort of like keeps it competitive for players in the top 200. You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's quite a nice thing. That feeling of even just getting into the 200 would be insane.
I'll give you that bit's cool. I have no problem with that. And the fact you can't rank down after Halo 3's nonsensical ranking
Yeah,
system.
Halo 2 is the same.
Have
as
a
well.
number, have a lieutenant, have a what?
Yeah.
Goodness
In Halo
sakes.
2, you used to get numbers, and I remember being 22 once, and then I stopped playing the game. I think I went on holiday for 2 weeks, came back, I'm back down to 10. I'm like, what? What have I done? Have I done this?
How dare you take a break from Halo? That was your own fault.
Yeah, it was my own fault. So
Halo doesn't. You
I
don't
mean-
quit Halo. Halo quits
I
you.
mean, I got back up to my level, but then if I lost the game, I would drop back down a level. And say, well, I don't get the point in that. But anyway, I'm quite excited for Halo, and that comes out in 9 days' time.
Oh, I just wanted to check, by the way, because you said that. So when you're playing an arena, like weapons spawn on the maps and all that, like it did in Halo 3, is that implying that in the normal Halo multiplayer, it doesn't work like that?
Yeah, so I think in the normal one, you can set your loadouts again a bit like Halo 4.
Oh.
Because that was I remember watching a bit of
But you love Halo of Duty.
that's the thing. I remember watching a bit of multiplayer
All of
from
Halo. sounds
Halo
better.
5 at the start, and I thought, oh, here we go, loadouts and everything. And then I was watching, I think it was from the press event they had. I was watching some gameplay videos of Arena. Everyone started with the same weapons, and obviously you got, I think it was a sniper rifle, rocket launcher, and a shotgun spawn. A bit like how in Halo 3 they were in certain places, but they were already there at the start of the game. So it's taken it back to sort of Halo 3 style. So basically for me, Arena seems a lot more like Halo 2 and Halo 3 multiplayer, which I'm more than happy about, to be honest.
Yeah. As long as, like, basically, if I was to buy Halo 5, which I probably won't, but if I was,
You have to
I'd
buy
play
an Xbox,
whichever
so-
game. Yeah, that's not. I'd play whichever game mode feels most like Halo 3 because Halo 4 was abomination. That should never have happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was okay with Halo 4. I mean, I won't say it lasted as long, but I don't blame the game as much. I just blame the fact that I played Halo 3 and Halo Reach too much, and by the time I got to it, it didn't do enough different to warrant it. If that makes sense, like it wasn't really the game's fault for me.
See, I think it was too different. And that's why I didn't like Halo 4. They changed too much in the multiplayer compared to Halo 2 and Halo 3. And they worked. It's a bit like, in theory, it's a bit like how Destiny is now. Destiny is basically it is core gameplay. You all start with exactly the same weapons, in theory, and it becomes more down to a game of skill or who can melee someone quicker than the other, which is my favourite part. That's what it's
You love
like for
that
me.
sword. You loved the sword in Halo, didn't you?
I never used the sword. Shotgun melee combo.
Oh. I was gonna say I was excited, and if I ever got an Xbox One, I'd buy Halo. But then I realised I'd be playing with Squiggy, and after he said that, I don't want to play with Squiggy.
Shotgun melee combo.
I've come to the realization, though, that I don't need another Halo because Destiny just is the natural evolution of Halo.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'll be
that's why I'm.
I get that. But when I was reading the article, I couldn't help but feel a bit nostalgic and like, oh, man, that would be fun if I had an Xbox One.
Yeah,
I'd be
I'll be
excited.
getting Halo on launch.
I'll be visiting Squiggy for some Halo fun times.
Feel free. We'll do a
Excellent.
Twitch stream
Ooh.
of us playing.
I hope this one works.
Squiggy and Mike play FIFA again.
No, I meant Halo.
You meant
Oh,
Halo.
I
You
thought you
meant the
meant
matchmaking
Twitch.
on Halo, and you meant Twitch. We have faith.
Yeah.
It works on so many levels.
To be fair, when I played Halo last week, it seemed to work all right. I think they've fixed it
Yeah,
a
but
bit now.
that's Master Chief.
Yeah,
That's not Halo 5.
again,
That's a whole new set of servers, Squiggy.
Yeah, but again, that was for 4 different games. 4 games worth of game modes. Whereas this one is just Halo 5. It's just the one
So
game
there's
mode.
no way they could muck it up.
No, I
So
think
if they do muck it
way.
up, they have no
that's
excuses.
the thing. I think it's gonna be harder for them to mess it up. But again, I'm not 100% confident they won't. But I'm holding out.
I'm gonna believe in them because they seem quite confident. I mean, they're revealing Halo Live, aren't they? Doing a big 6-hour live stream ahead of its launch, and I don't think you'd do that if you weren't confident in your game. Because if you're showing it live before it comes out for 6 hours,
Saying that, though, they did have the Halo World Championships based on the Master Chief Collection, and I'm sure they disconnected halfway through the game.
that is true. So yeah, so they're aware what would happen if they do that again. So I think they're confident.
Yeah, we'll see. See in 9
I
days
think
time.
that, but I don't like. Maybe that confidence is misplaced. I don't know.
I can be. I believe.
I don't know. But we'll find out in 9 days time anyway when it launches worldwide. So our next bit of news comes from Nintendo. Remember them?
No.
Yeah,
No?
I still play their games.
So apparently this week they've sent out NX development kits, which is Nintendo's next console or whatever it's going to be. And apparently, according to a lot of insiders who's received this development kit, the NX contains industry-leading chips in it, making it obviously highly competitive with the PS4 and Xbox One, and maybe more powerful, depending on
I think it's meant to be slightly ahead of them. I think.
which is about time, to be honest.
I think it's quite interesting news because I I don't know. I'm still a bit maybe disappointed in myself for having a Nintendo Wii U. And then when I'm reading stuff like this, I don't know. I kind of want to believe that Nintendo's next console is going to be amazing, so I'm quite happy. But then but then I don't really want to end up buying another Nintendo console and having 2 games for it.
Well, if all the theories are true that this is not just the sequel to the Wii U but also to the 3DS, then you'll have all of Nintendo's teams working on one, so you won't get the Wii U scenario where there's like 5 games coming out for it a year.
But I don't remember the last 3DS game I bought either.
Pokemon?
Pokemon, that was mine.
It could have been. But even then, I think I skipped the last Pokemon because I just wasn't in the mood.
I feel like I'm in a the minority position where everyone always raves about how good the 3DS's library is, and I'm like, really?
I don't think it's
Yeah.
that good. I don't
It's
think
not as good as the DS, but it's
it's
still
not
a
as
really
it's,
good library.
it's not
I mean,
even
it's
as good
better.
as Game Boy Advance, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. Game Boy Advance just had a crap library.
It's better than the new 3DS library.
No.
What are you on about? I don't regret that purchase at all.
I don't even know where
You
mine
say
is.
that? Like Xenoblade Chronicles is a proven good game. I'm trying to think of one on the 3DS that could maybe beat that. Just my main memories of the 3DS is being hyped for these games, like Luigi's Mansion. It wasn't that good. Animal
That
Crossing.
could have been my last game. Wait, that's going way back though, or maybe might have been the last game I played on the 3DS.
Says a lot that my most played
Majora's
3DS
Mask.
game.
I've just realised what it is. My last played game was Ace Attorney 5.
Yeah. I think the most I've played my 3DS is when I was replaying the Phoenix Wright games, which are DS games, and when I've been playing Theater Rhythm. It's and neither of those things are first party Nintendo. Like, yeah.
Well, no,
So
Theatre Rhythm's a masterpiece, so it's fine.
yeah, well, true, but so I don't know. The thing about NX though is that I find it hard to get excited because I remember what it was like leading into the Wii U launch, where it was like we've got third party support. It's gonna be different this time, and it's like
And it wasn't.
no, it's not.
But even then, Nintendo haven't really released many of their own games as well.
Which implies, because there's a lot of reports on the same level saying they're going to do this on NX, they're going to do this on NX, they're waiting till...
Well, yeah.
You
Like, the
know?
lack of news on some things, like, everyone assumes the next 3D Mario will be NX, probably NX launch.
Zelda as well, I think.
Is it Metroid
Zelda
as well?
maybe, like a Wii U NX crossover.
Yeah, I'm not, like, I will eat my hat if Zelda isn't another Twilight Princess scenario where you get the Wii U version and then you get the NX version. And I got suckered in with Twilight Princess and bought the Wii version, but I'll buy the Wii U version of the next Zelda. I'm not buying a new console just for one.
Yeah.
I bought the
I'll buy whichever version has the better control scheme, because I also bought the Wii version of Twilight Princess, and that was a mistake.
I also bought the Twilight Princess, and that was a mistake because I didn't like Zelda.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
And I don't know why I gave it another chance. I should have stuck to my guns and been like, you guys.
Or you'd like, if you chose another Zelda, you might have liked it, but
Oh
Twilight
no,
Princess
I've played Zeldas before. I played Zelda when I was on Nintendo.
I know, I'm
before,
just saying, Twilight Princess is not the get back into Zelda.
No.
It's the, hey Laura, you look right when you compare it to this game. What up?
But the main thing I'm interested in for the NX is what kind of architecture it's got behind it. Because if it's got one sort of like a PC style architecture, which is what the PS4 and Xbox One have, then it'll be easier for third parties to make games for the NX. Whereas if it's got its own complicated sort of thing like the PS3 had, and I'm assuming what the Wii U has at the minute, then
No, I think the Wii U is a very simple architecture. It's just the controller.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So the controller as well. But if they make
the controller will be the most interesting. Though.
Yeah, if they make it basically,
it won't be simple.
The last two haven't been with it.
That's the issue.
There'll be some quirk.
Yeah.
Even the GameCube controller was a bit quirky with that yellow little.
I like the GameCube controller.
Even the game, with a second joystick? Yeah, that's.
I liked it. It's just that joystick was pointless.
I think
the yellow one.
It was your camera.
Was it?
That's what C stood
for. The C stick's the camera. That's what C stands for.
I never used it on like 90% of games.
What were you playing?
You weren't playing very many
oh god
games where you control the camera, then, were you?
No, I wasn't. I just went with the flow.
But can you imagine if like the NX comes out, no quirks? It's just like system like more powerful than the PS4 and Xbox One. Because like here's the kicker: if it comes out and it's less powerful than the PS4 and Xbox One, it's like, what are you doing, Nintendo? Because those systems are already by technological like standards old at this point. Like, you know,
this
devs
is where
are saying
they
that
need to move on from it.
Yeah, devs are saying that they're struggling to like. They're already like reaching the potential of the PS4 and Xbox One, blah blah blah, which is making people think that this is going to be a shorter gen than last gen or whatever. So if NX, which is going to be Nintendo's next gen console, because the Wii U is already their this gen console, comes out and it's less powerful than the current gen consoles, then that's gonna just be a shitstorm. Like,
not really.
But the dream.
I couldn't give a rat's ass about the power.
Yeah, but developers do.
I think you're in the minority there, Slazo, because I mean, if it was a really good innovation, then sure, people might overlook it. But I do think the majority of people would be looking, well, it's less powerful now than these consoles. Why should I invest in it?
Nobody this generation has talked about whether the PS4 or Xbox One is more powerful. Nobody.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, but everyone has said that.
I've not heard that discussion at any point.
You need to go.
I think you need to get out your echo chamber.
I literally saw this morning a tweet saying someone confirming the PS4 is more powerful than the Xbox One. I literally saw someone tweet about it this morning.
I think it's not talked about so much now, maybe, but it still is talked about. But in the lead up to the console's releases, that was all you heard about, was the whole, oh, well, Xbox One has this much RAM and PS4 has this much.
This game runs smoother on this one. This one's 1080, this one's 720.
People most definitely do care about that stuff, and, like, as much as you can just sit there and go, well, I'll buy the next Nintendo console based off of Nintendo games, blah, blah, blah. The vast majority of gamers, if the NX comes out and it's like, it's worse than current gen consoles, they'll be like, so why should I buy one?
At the end of the day, there's a certain Nintendo fan base that are always going to buy the Nintendo console because you're not going to get them games anywhere else. But if they want to widen their user base and sell the console to loads of people, they need to appeal.
Basically, if it wants to be anything other than another Wii U, because the Wii U basically proved that the loyal, hardcore Nintendo fan base who's willing to sit back and go, well,
they have limits. They literally have limits.
They have limits, yeah. Like, especially after the Wii burned them so badly, where when Nintendo were like, well, we don't need you guys anymore. We've got mass market appeal. And then they lost it and was like, oh, wait, we do need
Come
you
back.
guys.
Come back. Look over here. We have Mario Kart and Super Smash. Come back. Come back.
Because the funny thing is that I considered myself one of those people in the GameCube era. GameCube was probably my favorite console
Yeah.
that generation.
Yeah.
Now it's like I look at Nintendo and I'm like, I don't know you anymore. What is going on? Like, yeah, they've lost a fair amount of their loyal.
They're just somebody you used to
yeah.
know.
I mean, it's all right them saying, oh, we've got Mario and everything, but if I think it's if third parties aren't going to take up support on it, I mean,
you need more than Mario to sell a console on the price, because otherwise you'll just wait for it to get cheaper.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
And-
what I think we all did with the Wii U.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Because we waited for the game to come out.
Yeah.
That's what
I think it'll be interesting to see what the NX is like, but again, I'm holding out a little bit more hope.
I'm gonna try and be optimistic before with all these news, but let's see what they got, and then I'll judge them on their launch lineup.
Yeah, because I think the GameCube had a decent launch lineup. The Wii U was alright. The Wii was alright, and the Wii U, I can't actually name the Wii U launch game. Zombie
The Wii
U,
U launch.
Zombie U.
Nintendo Land, Zombie U.
Super
Yeah,
Mario.
that's why I
Mario
wasn't even
3D.
New
10.
Super Mario? Was
Yeah,
New
New
Super
Super Mario, sorry,
Yeah.
not Mario 3D. I will say this though, that I feel like I'm in the minority where lots of people are wishing for the NX to be, handheld and home console combined to make one ultimate, and I'm like,
No.
I don't really want.
No,
I
I want
don't-
a home console.
Yeah, I
No,
want them
I
to.
want both.
Yeah, that's because like the 3DS is probably your most played system this year with your Pokemon shuffles.
No, I played my PS4 more this year.
I mean,
but-
I did.
It's a close run thing though.
It
Well,
is
no,
quite.
no, because like the first half of the year I was still doing my streak.
Oh,
So.
that's a good point. You might want to acknowledge that's a trophy streak and not some sort of
Oh
weird.
right, yeah, I should
That's
probably
fine.
say
Yeah.
there was a point over the last few years where I was doing like at least a trophy a day on PSN, so like 500 plus days. And then it ended over E3 for this damn website.
Still better.
You're welcome,
Getting
everyone.
this not
You're
right.
welcome.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I want a home console, but if they want to do sort of support like they did on the GameCube with the Game Boy, where you could plug it in,
They
and I
support
think
the Wii U supports the 3DS, doesn't it? I thought.
no,
For one game.
Is
yeah,
it only
but
Smash Bros?
It's only
I was about to say, I
Smash.
think it's Smash.
yeah, but
Well,
on
that
the
is like 90% of my games library. So
yeah,
to
That
me,
is-
that's everything. Continue, Squiggy. I'm sorry.
but yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. Well, I say fun. It'll be good to see what they're gonna do, and if they do come out with a lot more powerful console, it could be the start again of welcoming Nintendo back to the console game.
Yeah, I think that they kind of need to do what Sony have done this gen, where go, we're for the gamers, and not like we're making toys for kids.
Yeah,
But I don't think they will do that. I think they'll come out and the NX will be
I mean,
gimmicky and
see this. How much money has Amiibo made them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much?
I think the amiibo is what he's referring to, because if they did the amiibos alongside the games, I don't think anyone would have a problem. But when you look at Nintendo like in the last year and you say, well, you know what was a success?
Amiibo.
Amiibos, and then nothing else. You're
it,
like,
it just says a lot that Amiibo are more successful than their consoles.
yeah, yeah. I think we'll wrap.
That's a good place to end it on.
Yeah, I would say we'll wrap that one up there with that.
we could do a whole Nintendo podcast
Yeah, we
because
could.
there's a lot of it.
Save that for when the NX is actually announced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mike could be sitting there. I told you so. I told you it had no games.
So last week we brought you news of DLC, and because we want to continue on this streak, EA this week announced plans to release a season pass for Star Wars Battlefront, because that's what they do for all their multiplayer games. The season pass will include 4 expansion packs, which will also be available separately. But here's the best part: there are no details of what exactly the content is in the expansion packs, apart from the fact that the content will potentially take you to new locations. And owners of the season pass will get early access to the expansion packs before they launch, and will receive a shoot first emote, which is obviously a big thing from Star Wars Episode 4, I believe. Yeah, 4. So
I saw the news and was like, yep, that's just standard now. I mean, it's a bit like the fact they haven't got, they're like, oh, coming soon with details. It's like, well,
it's ridiculous, that part, though. I mean, here's the season pass. nobody doesn't want to know our season pass, but buy our season
think-
pass.
If they had mentioned in an interview, like, oh, that we are planning to have a season pass, but because it was like the big announcement on the official website,
Yeah.
and it was laid out, that's what made it look funny, if you know what I mean. Like in passing, if they have just gone to like a game site and gone, oh yeah, we are planning to have DLC, we'll probably do a season pass because we're gonna do content, regularly and stuff, then I don't think people will care. But the fact they laid it out like a big announcement, like we have an announcement to share, yeah.
Yeah.
I have two big hang-ups with this. One is, like, this isn't like normal season passes. Like, when Call of Duty or Battlefield or any of those come out and go, we got a season pass, they actually go, we're going to have map packs and all that. And the thing that worries me most about this is they're like, we could potentially take you to new locations
No,
and stuff. It's like,
I swear it says it will take you to new
No,
locations.
potentially.
It just doesn't say how. Say potentially.
Yeah.
Jesus.
yeah. So it's like, I have a terrible feeling. And the fact that it includes like
Have you
a
got a bad
hand
feeling
shoots
about
first
this?
emote, I've got a bad feeling about this. That it's gonna, like, it's gonna be what we talked about last week, where they have ideas for a season pass or whatever, but they're like, to make it seem worth it, we'll just jam some crap in there. So you might get, like, in one expansion, you might get, like, a map or two, but the majority of the content will be like, oh, new emotes, new skins for your character, and stuff like this. And if it's like that, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So the fact that they can't just come out and go, we've got an expansion pass, it's going to be 4 different map packs. Map pack 1 will take you to these planets, blah, blah, blah. It's like, why are you announcing this so early? It's mental.
It's like they're still like, they've written down an idea, like, you know what would be good? Season pass. With like, we want to do content. We're just not really sure what. We just put a note going something here.
And then the guy's there writing, like, you're a season pass, and he's just drawing pictures of dollar bills. Yeah, season pass.
The only thing I'm thinking though is maybe if there are new locations, will they be from the new movie?
Well,
Is that
they're already doing that, aren't they? Because the pre-order DLC is, well,
the
I say
Battle
pre-order
of?
DLC,
Is it
the
Jakku?
Battle of Jakku,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I wonder if
And
there's other places in there that we haven't seen about the new movie, and it could be something like that, or there could be new. I don't know. It could be anything. It could be something like that. There's me trying to look at the nice side of
I
it.
remember I remember people were hoping that if they were to do an expansion pass or whatever, that it would be like adding prequel stuff into it, because I think they did confirm, didn't they, that this is like set in the original trilogy. There's no like droids and
Oh, right.
Naboo.
Oh, because that would be quite good. Having a bit of having Naboo.
Yeah.
I love Naboo.
Mustafar.
I know the film gets a lot of hate, but I do love Naboo.
Mustafa system.
Yeah. Is that what the one you mean, Squiggy?
Yeah, yeah,
Lava place.
yeah. Lava
So
place.
But you touched on my second problem with it, though, is that, yeah, they announced that they're doing this free map as thing, and I thought that was them setting the precedent, like Halo did, where they were like Halo came out and was like, all maps are going to be free. We don't like splitting our community. Blah blah blah. When they came out and was like, oh yeah, if you buy day one, you get this map early. If not, everyone gets it. I thought that was them going, don't worry guys, we're not gonna be idiots and split our community. But now they're like, yeah, we got a season pass, we're gonna split our community. And that's like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, that's just been like, I was excited for this game, and now it's like, I feel like I need to, like, they're basically going, oh, if you want to buy this game and stay relevant with it, you need to drop this extra, what is it, $50?
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah,
there's a price. I'll double
there
check.
was a rough price put somewhere out there. I don't know if it was in the official blog post, but people seem to have
I
advertised.
feel, because I know yeah, I think the deluxe edition is up for pre-order now, where it's like $110
Yeah,
for the
so I think that's how people worked out how much it was rough.
Yeah,
yeah,
which
because the
is.
game's 60, so
Wait,
$50 for the
I've got it
season.
here. I'll have it here.
The
The
thing
link.
I have,
No, I don't. It
kind of,
doesn't work.
I was gonna say I lost my excitement when playing the beta because I realised that if not everyone gets on board and loves it, then I don't really enjoy playing it on my own.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is
And
that
this is what I'm gonna say. Like with the season pass, like so, okay, everyone gets the game that I know. I have like loads of people to play with, but then no one buys the DLC, and I do. I'm kind of like, well, I've just gone back to being on my own.
yep,
Awesome.
that's what I was like with Battlefield 4, where I recently bought the premium edition, and I was like, oh my god, like, this is so much better than Battlefield 4 was on launch. You've got all this new content, blah blah blah. But nobody else had it, so it was like, this is boring to play by myself. And it's like, so now it's like you already had a hard sell to be like, come on, guys, get
Yeah,
Battlefront.
come
We're all
on,
gonna
pay
play
out
it.
and get this game, and then
Yeah.
now you've got to work even harder and get. I know you bought the game, but I would like you to double it and go all in for the season pass. No?
I think that's the issue with
I think-
season passes though. Like it splits the community a lot, and
Yeah.
because Star Wars is a completely multiplayer game, it's the stupidest thing to do.
Exactly. Like that's the one thing that is making me basically say I'm probably not going to buy it now. Is that I buy it and I get to play it for like, I don't know, let's say the first content pack comes out early next year, so I get a good 3 months of playing it and being able to play with the entire community, and then half of them will probably move on to the DLC, and most of the playlist will suddenly become barren, and suddenly that disc I have is a bit worthless because there's nothing else I can do on it. I mean, I can play against bots, woo.
Droids.
Droids, yes. But you know, it's just a bit like it's so stupid. It's disappointing.
Yeah, it
Is
is.
most of
Yeah,
it's disappointing.
because I remember how excited I was for Battlefront when it was first revealed. Was it last year at E3 or even the year before? Maybe.
I think it was like 2 years ago
Yeah, I
when
remember
it's
how.
just
Yeah, I remember how excited I was for it and how hyped I was because it was Star Wars Battlefront, and now I'm like, it's Star Wars. It's gonna be good. It's Star Wars.
There's going to be a certain standard. You're going to get
Yeah.
a certain appeal from it. Like, you know, like you said, Star Wars, you're like, yep, that's cool. That's a good Star Wars 6. But
Yeah, I mean, I was watching a few videos from the beta, and I think there's one that I've seen where I think you can play as Luke Skywalker in the beta, couldn't you?
is this the one where you get squashed?
No,
Okay.
he picks up a droid like using the Force and throws the droid at TIE fighter
a TIE fighter.
and crashes the
Yeah.
TIE fighter. That's amazing. I would love to do that,
Not
but
if you was in the TIE fighter.
no, just seeing a
You'd
droid
be
coming straight.
shitting your pants.
Yeah,
You'd be like, what's that?
but
Mayday.
I did like the one of them getting squashed over.
Yeah,
I,
that was
I
also
need to find that.
That was so good it trended on Facebook.
But yeah, it's one of
Just
them
saying.
where I think it'll still be a good core game. Will be a good core game, but once the season passes out, that's when you sort of think, well, how long is it going to last if I don't buy the season pass?
See, I'm actually of the opposite thinking. I'm thinking that the core game will probably feel really barren. Because, like, I don't know like, if you noticed this, but in the marketing materials, they seem to be just showing us the same crap. It's like, here's the Hoth level, here's the weird level from episode 7, here's the Endor level. It's like, cool, are these the only 3 maps in the game? Is there anything else you're going to show us? So I'm, like, actually of the mindset now where if I'm going to buy Battlefront, I'm probably going to wait till next year and pick up the Ultimate Complete Edition with all the DLC and all that, and just get a much better deal and not have to put up with waiting for the content or waiting to see if it's broken on launch.
Yeah, I'll be waiting till after launch to get mine. Speaking of Star Wars, before we move on to the next news story, has anyone seen the new poster for the new movie?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I saw it on Twitter earlier.
It looks amazing.
It's like the same layout as other traditional posters, obviously, but
Yeah, but that's why.
it's so much hype. This is
Yeah,
hype.
I'm so hyped for it. I know this has got nothing to do with any of the news, but I was at a Star Wars concert on Friday where they played music from all 6 films, like with a classical orchestra and everything. It was amazing. I'm so hyped, and they had a choir for the Duel of the Fates, and oh, it was like, oh, it's amazing. Sorry. Anyway.
That was your Star Wars fanboy moment of the week.
It was, and then I was thinking
I'm just happy it wasn't provided by me.
Battlefront, and now a season pass, and now I'm sort of like,
That could
just
be
like
that
giving
could
me.
be the biggest temptation. Getting the movie being so good that you're like, I need more Star Wars. I need any more, and you just buy Battlefield.
That's what
That's what's gonna happen.
I won't lie.
isn't it?
That's if I love the Star Wars movie, the first thing I'll be doing is going from the cinema to game and buying Star Wars. I'm not gonna lie. I can't lie. If the movie is that good, because literally since Friday, all I've wanted to do now is watch every Star Wars movie. I'm hyped. I'm hyped for Star Wars, but I'm not hyped for Battlefront.
It's gonna be an impulse Star Wars buy, isn't it? And it's gonna be
Yeah, the
oh,
Force is
no.
going to be strong. Let's be honest.
I just need to derail this podcast just for a second to ask: is that Leia on the Star Wars poster?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, right. It was bugging me. I was like, it kind of looks like an old Carrie Fisher,
Yeah.
but I
But
can't
kinda
really.
not. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Where's Luke?
He's not on there. That started a bit of a debate. I thought at first he was the guy in the fighter outfit, but apparently it's not. This is completely derailing it because the Star Wars.
I know. Come on,
Okay, anyway.
Game.
So,
Enough Star Wars.
We've
we'll
not
move
branched
on.
out into films yet.
No, not yet. We'll move on from Star Wars to Paris Games Week.
Hey.
Oh, hello.
Slazo's woken up.
You would say I was gonna say the Force has awakened, but I don't want to call him the
No,
Force.
no.
Sorry.
Please don't.
So,
Never associate me with that franchise.
so the Paris Games Week kicks off in 9 days' time. And Sony have already been confirmed to be there, but Square Enix this week revealed their Paris Games Week lineup. And I'm going to go through the games that they have, and I'm probably going to say a few
Please
of them
don't
wrong.
do the accent. Don't do
So,
the accent.
Just Cause 3, Final Fantasy 15, that's XV, yeah, 15, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, Hitman, Nier,
Yeah. Yeah, you've got it.
New Project, apparently. It's a good
No,
one.
just let him carry on with the near.
Yeah,
near,
let me
not
carry on.
near,
Let me
really.
carry on. Final Fantasy Explorers, Life is Strange, never heard of it. Now my favourite two, Dragon Quest Heroes, Les Crépuscules de l'Arbre du Monde.
The world trees grow and the blight below.
Thank you, Google Translate. And then the next,
Thank you, I own the game.
and then the next one is Une Nouvelle Production du Collective
New
Project.
collection, new product.
Yeah,
Project.
yeah, pretty
Product.
much. But I thought my French
I
was
was-
good there. Sorry to
I'm-
any French listeners who I may have offended.
I feel like I just need to clarify. Slazo, are you sure it's that Dragon Quest Heroes game? Are you sure it's not the new one? Because they've
That's
already.
not even out in Japan yet, so I'd be
I
impressed.
know,
if
but
it's Dragon Quest Heroes 2.
It's the one that Slazo owns. 100%.
It is.
Okay.
100%.
I don't speak French. It could be the one that's not out yet.
Please don't
It's just it seems weird that they're showing off games that are already out.
Yeah, but
you
I
know,
mean,
what.
they go to events and they do. It's been known to. I mean, look at Gamescom. Konami went and showed off Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
Wasn't Gamescom before?
No, it
Okay.
was a week after, wasn't it? I swear it was already out by then. Wait, is it Gamescom or the other one? Oh, they showed it off somewhere and it was out and it was their big
I was about to
announcement
say,
thing.
I thought Gamescom was before.
It was at
Yeah, it might have
it was at
been. They showed it
it was at Eurogamer Expo.
Maybe it was that.
And that was
I know
their
they
big-
they
that was
showed
their
it
big
somewhere where it was already out and they didn't have anything else to really say about it.
Yeah. Wasn't it TGS?
Could have been.
It was,
Yes,
it was
that was
TGS.
it.
TGS,
Yeah.
TGS. I remember them doing it somewhere it was already out because I
Yeah,
remember
but that was
going,
because they were mainly showing off Metal Gear Online, which wasn't
yeah,
out.
but it
Yeah.
counts.
Yeah.
It counts.
So
It
anyway,
happened.
those are the games from Square at Paris Games Week. I don't know if there's any. I'm interested to see what
Pick
the
your
show.
favorite.
Well, I'm interested what they show for Final Fantasy 15 because after the last thing they showed for Final Fantasy 15, it's got to be better.
Mike got angry and wrote a piece on the
Yeah,
website.
it's got to be better.
No, that wasn't the last one.
Was
That
that
was
not
like.
Was that not the trailer they showed? With the big hype for the trailer? And then the trailer
No,
was a guy.
I wrote my angry piece for after Gamescom, and since then they've shown it off at like TGS and stuff like that.
Alright.
Oh, they showed it, yeah, because they revealed clips of them cruising round in a car, didn't they? So,
That's literally every clip of the game they've
known
ever
that
shown.
See me rolling, the
Oh, carry on.
hating.
They
I
showed
mean,
the map.
if they show anything new for Nier, because that's still very early in development. So.
Just like Final Fantasy 15, very early in development.
I think the one
Sadly.
thing that's missing from there, Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if
And
anyone.
Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if anyone agrees with that.
No, because I'm not surprised. I'm just not shocked.
I
just.
yeah,
Got Kingdom Hearts 2.8 coming. You don't need a new one.
No,
Look.
but I thought they would have shown a bit more. Maybe even something of Kingdom Hearts 2.8, just before it comes out. Well, it's not coming out for a while over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was surprised to see the game that I can't pronounce that you've had trouble with, the scary Moonhead Man,
Neo.
because
Yeah.
they didn't seem to. That seems way off, and they seem to just kind of want to announce it at E3 and move on. So
That's Square Enix's favorite thing to do: announce games and then never make them.
So yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised to see that on the Paris. I just don't expect games for Square Enix. Like I kind of don't have any expectation of what they're going to show because generally I'd be disappointed otherwise.
So you could
So-
say Nier is far away. Here all
You could,
week.
but I
I'm
wouldn't.
here
That
all
joke's
week.
awful.
I'm here all
You
week.
could, but you see, I'm a decent human being. So.
It's a bit. Well, you don't know Star Wars.
Yeah.
No, I don't love Star Wars.
I mean, they're showing off Hitman. I'm happy about that. There you go. That's my excitement for the Paris Game Week. Hitman.
Literally looking at this lineup, I have no excitement for anything because I just.
Though, to be fair, I'm saying that excitement seems strong. I mean, I'd check it out and be intrigued, but
I think it's just because I'm wary of getting burnt. Like, I can't get excited for Square going like, we're going to show off this, because then we might get another, and here's a trailer of a son hugging his father for 2 minutes.
Yay!
Please enjoy it and make for more. No! And that's why I'm not surprised, because I think, just on that point, Kingdom Hearts is way further away than people think it is.
Yeah.
So whenever people are like, oh, why are they not announcing a date for Kingdom Hearts? It's because it's like, Final Fantasy 15's been in development for years.
My
years.
life. My
for,
life.
for nearly half my life, and you want a release date for Kingdom Hearts 3?
I don't want a release date.
He just wants
No,
to
no, no,
see
but when
stuff.
people are like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I just
Well,
want some. I think they've got to keep it. They've got to keep it ticking over in a way. They've got to keep showing off, even if it's showing off footage that they showed off at another games show. I think they've got to keep
oh
ticking
yeah, I
over.
wouldn't be
Just
surprised if they have a montage reel of
yeah.
here's some Kingdom Hearts stuff.
I think they've got, because of how long it's going to take for it to come out. They've got to keep. I mean, I know everyone who knows Kingdom Hearts wants Kingdom Hearts, but I think they've got to keep it, just to keep it relevant for a little
I
bit.
think that's what 2.8 is. Like, they realised that Kingdom Hearts 3 is so far away, they were like, we should probably do this, because the 2.8 is basically the episode Duske?
Disgaea? What?
I have no idea what you're trying to say, to be
You
honest.
know, the demo that they did for Final
Oh,
Fantasy 15.
Duske.
I was
Yeah.
gonna call it the Ground Zeroes.
And it's basically that too. Yeah, it's basically that and Ground Zero is wrapped into one. It's like Kingdom Hearts 3 is further away than we think it is.
Yeah.
We need to keep people hyped because
If you base it on Ground Zeroes timings as well, was it 18 months after Ground Zeroes Metal Gear Solid 5 came out?
yes.
Yeah, so it could be probably even longer based on how Square go.
Wow, that was actually. I don't know why I'm surprised that you had like pinpoint knowledge of Metal Gear stuff, but that was actually really accurate. Wow, sorry.
I'm good. What can I say? It actually was pretty much exactly 18 months. Yeah. Anyway, the only other one that springs out of me is Just Cause 3, and that's because Just Cause 1 was really good. Just Cause 2 was it was all right, but I'm interested to see what they do with Just Cause 3 because there's only so much you can say. This is the biggest environment in the world. We can run around and grapple hook onto
Like,
cars and everything, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays and how it looks
I'd
more than anything.
I'd completely forgotten that game was coming out this year. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't even know
I
it was
keep
coming out this
forgetting
year.
it. It's like the forgotten one. Like you saw it, you're like, oh cool, that's cool, and then you're just like, eh.
And I think it's a mixture of the fact that it comes out in December, which is like games don't come out in
Because nothing
December.
comes out in December.
And also just like there's a lot of open world fatigue this year, and I think Just Cause 3 is gonna really.
Ubisoft have I keep giving money to Ubisoft for open world game. Like I can't give them any more. I can't spread any more open world money out.
Yeah,
I've got enough.
that's something I want to.
Ubisoft.
But you're giving your money to the worst people to do.
Oh, I know, but they had me. They got me first, and I've stayed
And
like a loyal customer.
like if they released on any year, it would have been bad because Ubisoft are milking that open world dry. But
There's
then,
someone every year.
yeah, but this year is particularly bad because you've had The Witcher, massive open world RPG. Earlier on in the year, you had Dying Light, massive open world survival horror zombie game. Metal Gear, massive open world stealth game.
Don't forget Dragon what's its face re-release as well.
Dragon Age
Dragon
Inquisition,
Age.
you mean?
That's the one. Yep.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That's like Game of the Year
I suppose if you
edition.
think of it in a way, Bloodborne, there were so many ways to tackle it. You could go about it different ways. It's not.
That's pretty open. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the big one, Fallout 4,
Yeah.
and the fact that Fallout 4 is coming out in less than a month now, I think it's just going to eat Just Cause 3's lunch. Like people are going to look at it and go, "I've just spent 80 hours in an open world shooting mutants. I can't look at you, Just Cause 3. I can't.
Yeah.
Go away."
I do think there's a slight I mean, some people are probably going to prefer Just Cause 3 because it is a different styling and
Oh yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
know those
but
people.
it's not exactly the same thing. Don't. It's not me.
Laura, it's
It's
Laura.
not me.
Laura.
I've
It's
never.
the Saints Row market.
I've
for
never
Lord's
played a Just Cause game. Leave me alone.
Really, they're better than Saints Row.
Oh my god! Don't even start this. Right. That's it. All I was gonna say is they got different appeal still, even though they're both open worlds, and that's all I was gonna say. But leave it at that.
Okay,
Before
we'll leave it at
people
that.
insult Saints Row.
We'll leave it at that. We'll move on. Rounding off our news this week, upcoming releases for the week commencing the 19th of October, which is 2 days ago. If you listen to this on the day it comes out, that was some
We're from
awful,
the future.
that was some awful maths
Spooky.
in my head. So this week, Guitar Hero Live comes out. Life is Strange episode 5.
Fuck's
Tails,
sake, I knew he was gonna woo.
just waiting for
I
that.
just
Wait,
knew.
might want to do platforms.
So,
Guitar Hero Live is out.
You do
Just
the
find it.
You shout out with the platforms. I'll say the game name. You do the platform. Guitar Hero Live.
PS4, PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Wii U.
Wii
Is
U.
it on Wii U?
Yep, it's on Wii U.
Wow.
Wii U gets third-party support, finally!
That's why I'm
I'm
shocked.
quite surprised. Sorry, yeah. Didn't know it was on Wii U. Maybe I should buy it on my Wii U and double my
See,
games
now
library.
we're being
Double my games
informative.
library with Guitar Hero.
Oh.
Think of all 2 of those Wii U owners that wouldn't have bought a copy if they hadn't have known that it was on Wii U thanks to...
It says a lot about the advertising that we didn't even think to. Is it on Wii U? That's yeah. Carry on. Sorry.
Life is Strange episode 5.
Windows, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One.
And not the Wii U.
Nope.
Tales from the Borderlands episode 5.
It just says Windows, PS3, and PS4, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be on Xbox 360, Xbox One mobile, and everything that can run it like a toaster.
I wish
Yeah.
my toaster could run it.
Borderlands on a toaster. Anyway, Tales of Zestiria.
PS3, PS4, and Windows.
Just Dance.
I feel like you're just testing him now.
I am. Just Dance 2016.
PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and gasp, Wii U.
Yeah. Just
I'm not surprised Just Dance is on the Wii U. So that's like one of the big things they always advertise at YouTube.
Just Dance NX coming soon.
Probably, yes.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yeah, that's the big one of the week, and that's just on PS4 and Xbox One apparently. I'm thinking, is the PC version delayed?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, the PC version comes out on November 19th.
Yeah.
Whereas the
Oh yeah, I knew this. I should have
25th.
perked up then. I did know this because I thought it was weird.
So sorry, PC owners, if you want to play Assassin's Creed, I don't know why you do, because they're normally terrible ports. You have to wait an extra month. At which case, you'll probably be playing Fallout and just won't care. Whereas the rest of us won't be playing Fallout, but still won't care. Is anyone excited for Assassin's Creed? I feel like that's just a thing to ask.
Right. The thing with Assassin's Creed, I keep seeing bits of it, and I like the idea of the Jack the Ripper and that whole. I love the setting, if you know what I mean. Like, if you had asked me 4 years ago, I would have probably bought this on launch just based on the setting of Assassin's Creed. Like, yeah. But yeah, after being jaded and still having Assassin's Creed Unity sat on my shelf, which I have not played yet.
I think mine's still
could not-
sealed.
Yeah, I unwrapped mine and installed mine because I was all prepared. I was prepared. I would love to say that I would be excited a bit, but I just can't. Just
I was a bit worried when you said Jack the Ripper. I thought you're excited about the DLC.
no, I know, no.
I'm more excited about the DLC. I never thought
The
I'd say
DLC. The DLC looked awesome. It has to be said in the trailer they showed for it. But let's be honest, that means I'd have to buy the base game first, which at the moment is a distant thought. That said, I said that last year, and then Assassin's Creed Unity dropped to like £20 really quickly.
Yeah, I bought it
and
at £20. It's been
And then you still didn't play it.
It's been £20 well spent. It's right at the end of my shelf, so it props you the games up.
To be fair,
Yeah.
mine sat right in the middle. It's next to Far Cry 4, which makes Far Cry 4 look more of an appealing prospect. So,
Actually,
good advertising.
I don't even know
So
what that is. It's not on the end. Oh well. Anyway.
If you had to pick a game to recommend this week, it would be Tales from the Borderlands episode 5.
Life is Strange.
We're not done yet. We're not done. There's one more span at the front of the works.
Oh yeah,
Legend of Zelda, Triforce Heroes.
Nintendo releasing games. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
because I don't even like Zelda. But when I read that about there being no voice chat and there being region lock and stuff like that, I was like, this is the worst co-op game ever. Like, work together but only use emotes to contact each other. No.
And Nintendo, of
What?
course.
Oh, and that's on 3DS. Sorry
Yeah.
to break apart Wii U owners. There's no games for you. Apart from Guitar Hero.
Just Dance. Excuse you.
I said apart from them.
If anything, this is like one of the best weeks
This
we've
is a
had.
packed week. This is a packed week.
Oh man, 2 third-party releases.
Is everyone sitting down? Is everyone good?
Yeah.
Is everyone good? Good. So we'll move away from this to our topic of the week. Now, this week, our topic of the week, how many times can I say topic of the week, is genres we'd like to see make a return. I wanted to go for first-person shooters, good first-person shooters, but I wasn't allowed.
Because that's not really gone, right? We should
Right.
clarify that when
Oh,
you say
I wish I could go into a shop and buy a first-person shooter, man.
No,
It's
it's good.
just
It's good. Without
when
DL.
we say
I've got one. First-person shooter without a season pass.
well, okay,
There we go.
Wolfenstein.
Okay.
Wolfenstein.
Destiny
enough.
the Taken King. Because there's no
Well,
season pass for
Destiny
that.
had a season pass.
Yeah.
It had
What?
one, but you can
Right.
buy it, go into the shop, buy the Legendary
Stop
Edition.
it.
It doesn't
Stop
have
it,
one.
Anyway,
Slazo. Stop
It's
it.
so just to clarify, the clarification is genres we'd like to see return. They don't have to be like dead, like there's no releases for them, but it's just like maybe they've fallen out of sorts. Maybe like there's not many releases. There's a few.
Yeah, ones that were more popular sort of back in the day, but
Yeah.
they still come out now, but they're not as
So
popular.
first-person shooters are more popular than ever, and that's why we didn't
Yeah.
allow you
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
choose.
not good ones though.
About all the games, all the genres get unappreciated and forgotten about. It really
Oh
is a
man.
stretch to argue.
Yeah, so whoever wants to dive in
I'll
first.
go first. I chose strategy.
I love Strategy. It's my favourite step song. Oh wait, that's
Strategy.
Strategy.
Yeah, strategy RPGs or SRPGs or tactical RPGs, whatever you want to call them. Mainly
Uh,
because
Wait, you mean the strategy RPGs or strategy games in general?
just RPGs. I'm thinking along the lines of Final Fantasy Tactics,
You mean like Disgaea
Advance
5,
Wars.
which came out this week?
yeah, but
Yeah,
that doesn't mean the
but
genre's flooded.
I know.
whoa! Disgaea 5 came out. Clearly, we're in a flood of strategy RPG. Oh wait, no, it was the first one in like years.
Since the last Disgaea.
Exactly, Disgaea is like the only series that I can think of where it's still active. Like we were talking about it last week. There's not been an Advanced Wars in
That's
far
not
too
really a
long.
strategy RPG. That's just strategy.
It has RPG elements. Do you want me to slap you?
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Name an RPG element that game has.
You customize your squad and
There you
choose
go.
which units to use.
Squad.
Shut up, Slazo!
Squad
It's not
goals.
squad. I don't. Whatever. I'm done. Next.
Go on then, Slazer.
Okay, hang on, let me just pause my game of Mario.
Because we give you our full undivided attention on the Party Podcast.
I've never done that.
I know.
But yeah, I want to see the return of Tycoon games because there was a period like 10, 15 years ago when PC gaming wasn't what it is today, where you got millions of them like Casino Tycoon, Prison Tycoon, Roller Coaster Tycoon,
Isn't Roller Coaster Tycoon
Zoo
coming out this
Tycoon.
year?
There's I'm getting to that now.
Okay.
Are we just gonna nitpick
Don't worry.
everyone's?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we
what's
are.
happening?
Yeah.
At least mine's are good.
But yeah, there was like a period where there were like loads of them, and then like kind of after Steam came out, it kind of just started fading away as the invent of like first person, third person just completely took over the system. And nowadays there's like bugger all. I mean, we've finally sort of seen a resurgence because there's Roller Coaster Tycoon coming out later this year, Theme Park Architect, and I think there's another one, but I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. But it would just be cool to like see a load more of those, like in the old days. Like everyone remembers Theme Park and Theme Hospital.
Yeah,
This-
because they were awesome.
yeah, they were amazing, and there's just barely anything like that anymore. It's taken a decade to get a new Roller Coaster Tycoon. A decade. It's like,
I remember buying
come on.
the SeaWorld expansion pack for.
Zoo Tycoon.
No, it was for theme park, but it was theme park world, but it was the hospital, not the hospital, the water park expansion pack. And basically,
Oh,
I got to create like the Shamu show. And now, if I did that now, then I'd probably have
oh
Peter.
man, just
Peter
making all
outside
those
my door.
custom roller coasters, especially in theme park where you didn't have like limiting things. You could just make a roller coaster that looked like a monstrosity, and it would still work somehow. Good times.
Yeah, I think
Times.
that'll be
Yeah,
a good thing.
just want to see more of them, especially on touchscreen devices
I love
nowadays.
this. This is
Like,
gonna
why
be like
not?
you want to see more of them, and then it'd be like will there be a flood of them next year? And his complaint will be there are
Well,
too
I
many
backed
Tycoon
Sleep
games.
Architect on Kickstarter, and
Really?
and assuming it doesn't review terribly, I'll probably buy Roller Coaster Tycoon World. So, fingers crossed. In a few months, I'll be like, man, it's great to have these two. I have things to do. Yay. Don't have to play good old games Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 over and over and over.
I think I've got 3 on Steam.
Yeah, three's the bad one. Don't play free.
And that's why Laura bought it first.
No, Free's all right. It's not the bad. I mean, there's worse. Stop it.
No, there isn't.
Stop it.
Three's the one where they went, let's make it 3D. Oh, this hasn't worked.
Wasn't that bad? Yeah. So, I guess it's my go to top them two, which I already know what's going to be said as soon as I said it because we like to nitpick.
Can't say Saints Row.
I wasn't gonna say.
Well, that wasn't what you were expecting us to say. Oh, sorry.
Right,
Carry
sorry,
on.
I was gonna say that I
Yeah,
really
carry
miss a proper stealth game, and I know you're gonna say Metal Gear Solid 5's come out, but I just don't like stealth games where you can choose to be stealthy or not stealthy and stuff like that. I know it's all about player choice, but it's really defeated the art of proper stealth games. That is
Have you
all.
played Volume yet?
I have not played Volume yet, but now I will go Google what that is because I've never heard of it.
It's the next game.
Uh,
This was a lone guy.
Oh, I do know what this
Okay.
is. Oh, I do know
I
what
have
this
it.
is.
well,
Steam.
every time I talk to you about it, you
Yeah.
go, I have no idea what that is. And I'm like, yeah, you do. It's the game which is basically like Metal Gear Solid
Yeah,
1
and then
VR
I
missions.
go-
And you're like, oh wait, yeah, no idea what it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I probably should play that then, and then I would complain. But come on, that's only one game.
I know.
I
No,
still
I know.
think
Hit,
Metal Gear
Hitman.
Solid 5 was a good enough stealth game. Hitman, obviously, is Splinter Cell coming out?
Well, Splinter Cell hasn't been stealth in the last few, to be fair to it, because that literally sold out. And Hitman, was the last one bad? Hitman? Did I not like the last one?
Hitman
I might.
Absolution.
I think the last one may have not been great, and may have also
I
lost its
thought
stealth
they were
element.
rebooting it because the
And
last one
yeah,
sucked.
and they're rebooting it, and I have big hopes for this because they've shown early footage of them, doing levels and that, and it looks like a proper stealth game. But till they actually come out and I can see that that's what it's like, then I want a stealth game.
I
As long
just
as you go on, sorry.
my nitpick is more, why would you want the stealth genre to go back to the ball-bustingly frustrating, oh, you got spotted, instant game
Because I
over.
kind of
Right.
like that. I mean,
You wouldn't get past the first level though.
I
I've heard
know.
you on Metal Gear Solid 5.
I know, but
The constant alert
I would
noises.
keep trying, and I just
I'd turn the difficulty down to easy.
no, I wouldn't. I would just let me have this. Let me have it.
Well, it's interesting to note that Stealth has made a bit of a resurgence with the Styx games, and that got a sequel announced this week.
See, I'm just current. That's what I am.
Yep.
Oh, this volume. Oh, yeah, I might have to.
Yeah, I've got a copy of Volume, which I'll give a go. I played the first level and I thought, yeah, this is Metal Gear Solid VR missions, which isn't a bad thing. But again, like I I don't think you can have. I don't think there's a point to having the stealth genre back now, and it's not because that it's a bad genre. I think it's more because of people now don't have the time to play like that. Do you know?
I thought you could say because the stealth action genre has completely surpassed it. It's like, it's true.
But it is, yeah,
It's
it is.
true.
But people don't have time to have to sneak around. If they get spotted, it's game over. It's back to the start. People now want to be able to play a game in short bursts. If I sat and played a game for half an hour, got spotted at the end of that half an hour, had to go back to the start, I'd be like, well, I've just wasted half an hour. I could have been playing something else. And I mean, that's more because of how much time people have nowadays, and because there's so many games out that people want to play. That's why I don't
I
think
also,
there's a need for it.
I feel like the stealth genre kind of hit a cap, because like, I don't know, maybe this is just a really bad example, but playing the recent Thief reboot was just painful. It was a bad game anyway, but then it showed off the limitations of what a pure stealth game is, and that tried to be stealth action, but really crappily. Like, it wasn't instant game over when you got spotted, but like the combat was so terrible.
Yeah,
So like that's the kind of like limitation you have if you're just going pure stealth. Is it either has to be you get spotted instant game over, which is just frustrating for the player, or you have to make action so unappealing that you'd never want to do it. In which case, that's just boring.
Yeah.
Like the one I love how in Metal Gear Solid 5 I can go like 3/4 through a mission being perfectly stealthy, and then I get spotted, and it's not instantly like, oh, I hate myself, I'm gonna have to replay the whole mission. It's just, okay, I have to adapt, I have to change my tactics, I have to,
Pull out the rocket launcher.
allow the rocket launcher, call in the tank,
Yep.
let's just go. It basically becomes a whole other game. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, like you said, when I played Metal Gear Solid 5, I tried to do it as stealthy as I could, but I always knew I had the option to fall back on not being stealthy, because sometimes you get spotted by someone you're not expected to be spotted by, maybe that you think you've taken out, or there's some random guy around, and if that was game over, that would be me. No, I'm out. I'm done. That's what it would be for me.
Laura, what you need to do is play Metal Gear Solid 5 on the. There's like one of the mission modifiers is if you get spotted, it's game over. Boom.
Then I have
Uh,
my stealth genre back.
there's the stealth genre you want.
And that'll be fun to listen to.
Very, very fun to listen.
So my topic, apart from first person shooters without a season pass, is point and click games. So obviously there's a lot of Telltale games these days, which are like the episodic games, and they do have a. It's not a point and click. It's not really. It's not point and click. Point and click. It's
No.
oh, look at this over here. Press a button on it and interact with it for like 5 seconds or something. Whereas back in the day, you had Grim Fandango, Escape from Monkey Island. I believe that was point and click. I haven't played it for a while. It might be a different game I'm thinking of, but it was games like that where you could Grim Fandango, you had to basically investigate things by using point and click, and there's not many. I can't think of many of those games now. And Grim Fandango, when the re-release was announced, everyone's like, "Yay, Grim Fandango! It was awesome."
Is the new King's Quest point and click? I'm not sure because I haven't
I
really
think
looked into it.
it's the new King's Quest is Telltale style, so
Ah,
it's
okay.
more,
It's like a dumbed down.
Story.
It's a dumbed down
Yeah.
point and click more than anything.
yeah. Telltale kind of have the monopoly on point and click games at the moment, and I was on board when it was like, oh, it's more cinematic, blah blah blah. But slowly, it's become so dumbed down to the point where I love Tales from the Borderlands, but there's no puzzles. There's nothing. You just walk around and talk to people, and the story progresses, and you make choices, and that's it. There's no player interaction or
Because when they first did Walking Dead, they did try to make it a bit. I swear, in Walking Dead there was
Yeah,
something
the
that was kind
first
of
the
in
first few
Walking Dead there was
episodes.
resemblance.
very base puzzles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I don't think I've even done episode 4 of Tales from the Borderlands yet. But when I did episode 3, I could literally sit there and just rest the controller on my leg or on my desk and just use like one hand to control it while browsing the internet at the
mm,
same time, just taking in the story. But I didn't have to think about what I was doing.
yeah.
It's like what was said about the stealth genre, that people don't have time anymore. But I think in this case, a lot of people would be happy with a point and click. Basically, how you saw how well Grim Fandango was received when the reboot was announced. And I think people do have time for it, but yeah,
It's not just Grim Fandango either. They did the remasters of the Monkey Island games,
yeah,
and they sold pretty well.
yeah. But I think it's more trying to create original stories for these point and click adventures, whereas sometimes it might just be easier just to do a generic like action game, adventure game sort of thing, or
Yeah.
do a Telltale style game to get the story across.
It's kind of the opposite of what I was saying about stealth action, where I feel like stealth action is the natural progression of stealth. Whereas with this, I feel like this is just a case of one genre just like devouring the other when they could both coexist.
Yeah,
I mean, we still get some point and click games like Broken Age, is like a classic point and click. I completely forgot they announced their remastering Day of the Tentacle, didn't they?
Yes.
Um, So yeah, so obviously like, and that was based off of how well Grim Fandango sold. So like, obviously, you know, Tim Schafer's listening at least. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm yeah, I feel like Telltale have ruined it for everyone. Oh
yeah. I mean, they make good games, but
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
of
They
the
could,
because of their basically they make games for nearly everything that could be a point and click game is now a Telltale. Press A here to see a little
It's
interaction.
it's kind of how like Ubisoft tried to take over the open world franchise sort of thing. Like they got a successful formula. At the end of the day, I assume Telltale games sell well. I've always been under the
They're always,
assumption they
Yeah.
have.
yeah.
Yeah. So why bother changing anything up?
Yeah.
Like
And then people probably think, well, why should we do a point and click game to compete with a Telltale
when
game when
yeah. We're gonna have to, like they're doing everything that they want. There's nothing we can add at this moment.
Yeah.
Well, as Mike said, I do think someone should come in and go, hey, have some puzzles.
Yeah.
Well, they are. That's what Tim Schafer's doing. That's just Tim Schafer and Double Fine. But I do like that analogy was brilliant though, Laura. Just because I hope similarly how like Ubisoft's open world domination is slowly crumbling around them. I feel like it's the exact same for Telltale now, where like Minecraft story mode just has me going like,
People,
nah, I
yeah,
don't
people are
care.
starting to question it. Like even in review scores, the things that Walking Dead were praised for are now getting like instead of getting 9s and 10s for being different, you read the Borderlands. Well, Borderlands actually saves a lot of itself from humor, but so let's take Game of Thrones. You read a Game of Thrones and they're like, yeah, we're a little bit bored of the setting now and the
Yeah.
control scheme, so we're gonna give it a 6 or a 7. I mean, it's not you know what I mean? Like things they got. It's the point of when something isn't new, people are like not gonna give them good reviews for it because they're like, well, I feel like I played this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the exact same as like with Assassin's Creed, where you know, uh, people gave Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, whatever, benefit of the doubt, going like, oh, it's new, it's interesting, let's see if they can fix the problems. And then by the time you get to like 3 and all that, it's like they still haven't fixed the
Yeah. But
problems. We're
then,
going to be a lot more
yeah,
critical
it was
now.
weird though because they changed it up with 4 in a way,
Yeah,
and then went back to
and
the
that's why I reviewed that.
yeah, and then went back to the same thing. The next one, I mean, the next one was broke, but it reviewed the same way as sort of Revelations. I think was the one before 3. So Revelations 3 and Syndicate reviewed the same. Not Syndicate, Unity reviewed the same as each other because it was the same core game.
There's been a case of when they've added something to a game, they've added it only for that game. With Assassin's Creed, I don't know if Telltale have really done that because it seems they keep everything basic and the story change because the story's always changing because you know
Yeah,
it's
but
they
Telltale
have
is
that.
basically cookie cutter. It's just like you take the core gameplay and then wrap it in whatever IP they
Yeah,
get
they're just sort
offered.
of basically skinning a game, pretty much. We'll put some
Yeah.
Borderlands skins on here, change the story a little bit, or Game of Thrones
Yeah.
skins and everything.
I mean, the what you're getting from it is great voice acting performances. That's where the effort goes in properly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's to tell the story.
it's the writing and the story.
Scripting,
Yeah.
voice acting, done.
The actual gameplay, like that I'm becoming like jaded with them because it's just like the gameplay hasn't changed. I'd love for them to just like take a year, work on the engine, maybe make the games like
Because
put some effort into making the games more.
is this? I was gonna say, is it fair to say because you've played Until Dawn? Until Dawn is like the evolution of a Telltale game, like done on a big scale.
It's
Could
it
Telltale reach for that sort of height and do something more on
no,
that scale, or does it
probably
still
not.
have to be littler? Littler.
Well, Until Dawn probably wouldn't work episodically. And also like Until Dawn is basically a Telltale game blown up like with it's basically a Telltale game on a bigger budget. It doesn't fix any of the problems that a Telltale game has. It's still like 100% about the story.
Yeah.
Like you're still like the majority of your actions are still through quick time events. There's like 0 puzzles in Until Dawn. Like
Okay.
so,
I just wondered because you got to just see where it goes. Because I'm gonna be honest, I think Game of Thrones has been the most disappointing to me.
oh god, yes.
Because of how stale it feels when you're playing it. I think the only reason why Tales of Borderlands, which you know, works, is solely because the humor and the universe is so good. Like
Yeah.
if that plot wasn't as funny as it is, then I'd probably be playing it going, yeah, it's my last Telltale game. Because 2 Telltale games in a row being samey and feeling stale to you doesn't mean I'm gonna go jump on the next one. Sort
Yeah.
of thing. That's like one too many.
Yeah, I think we'll move on from this because there's a lot of games out there that like genres of games that could make a return, and then there's a lot that some people don't want to see ever, and there's probably a good reason for that. So we'll move on from our topic of the week to the salt mine, and our miner in the salt mine this week is Laura. So Laura,
Oh, I'm a minor.
Take your canary, and
I'll be the canary.
take Mike and have a rant. The floor is yours.
Well, I appreciate that my canary is Mike. Basically, like we just been speaking about Telltale games, we we want to put Telltale into the we're putting Telltale into the sort mine is what I got permission to do, right? I just
Yeah.
want to put I just want to throw them on the sort mine because with the fact that we haven't had the last Game of Thrones yet, and we've waited so long for Tales Boy, it's like basically they keep releasing things and not finishing their previous products. And we got Minecraft coming out the story mode, which will probably be, however, entertaining if you like Minecraft. But it's a case of every time they bring out something new and they're committed to it, it's like I'd rather just have Game of Thrones all done. It took over a year for all the episodes to be released, and it's just ridiculously frustrating. And I know Mike's going to agree with this point. The fact it takes so long, if you buy it on launch, you're kind of punished because by the time the whole thing's out, it's been reduced so many times that you might have well just waited, and then you could have played it all in one nice easy flow. But yeah,
Here's
loyalty
my
punished.
my rant for this is that I bought Game of Thrones and Tales of the Borderlands on launch, and before episode 2 of either game was even out, it had already been massively discounted.
And I got on board then.
And Laura got on board then, so I just got punished for. I mean, I got to play episode 1 like a couple of months before Laura did. Woo. That really wasn't worth like.
I know, and you had no one to discuss it with either, so you didn't even get the joy, which is kind of the joy of a Telltale game, the secret joy.
Pretty much. But no, the thing is though, is this isn't even a new thing. They did it with The Walking Dead as well and The Wolf Among Us, where I'm fairly sure that like before either of those had finished, they debuted the new game. I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just a thing that they do where they're like they love to start new series, don't like to finish them, and that's why most series have an awful tail end of the series because they are probably ramping up production on whatever's coming next.
You just rather have it go, boom, we're working on this game for the year, we're going to have it all out within months.
Yeah, consistency would be nice.
Because, with the Game of Thrones Borderlands thing, they were doing alternative months, weren't they?
Yeah.
And it's
for a while.
Yeah.
For the first 2 months.
Let's put it in perspective. If you only bought one of them, that's such a drag out for you. Like, in terms of...
So that's pretty much waiting a year. Really.
It is. And then it's also the fact that, before, it's like, oh, previously on. It's like, well, I need the recap because it's been so freaking long. Like,
like Borderlands has managed to keep my attention just because it's been so good. But Game of Thrones, I'm just like, what's happening? I'm not going to go into the details because Slazo hasn't played it and Squiggy hasn't. I think you own it.
Which one?
Game of Thrones.
No, I don't know the Game of Thrones one.
Okay, I know Slazo owns it. He bought the bundle.
I own them, but
that was great value, that bundle.
Like a great bundle.
I think it averaged out to like £9 a game, I think, or maybe even less. Can't remember.
Sorry, please don't make us extra salty. We're throwing it on the salt line as it is.
I'll keep you occupied for a couple of years as well. See,
gotta finish a good episodic game first.
I'm the opposite of you though, Mike. That I've lost interest in Borderlands because of how long it's taken between the different episodes to come out. Whereas, because I bought The Walking Dead 1 and 2 when they were already all out, so I could play one after the other. Which is, at the end of episode 1, you wanted to play episode 2 straight away, and I could, which was good for me. But now with Borderlands, I couldn't tell you what I've done. I've done the first 3 episodes of Borderlands, couldn't tell you what I've done. Don't know what's going to happen in the next one. I can't remember anything, and I have no urge to go back and play it because I waited that long for it to come out that the games were occupying my time.
I feel like when the release schedule is done right, the good thing about it is, as Laura will probably attest to, is they feel like events. Like I can't remember the amount of times I've gone to Laura like, oh my god, Laura, next week is Tales from the Borderlands, and then we suddenly just both get really excited, like, oh god, yes, we get to enjoy it for a couple of hours and then wait months for the next one.
It's like such an epic, like, okay, it's coming out on the Wednesday, I'm gonna download it, and then I'm gonna play it just straight let's go, let's go. At best, I think that sometimes I played it on a Thursday because it took so long to download. Stupid internet. Not the point.
See, 'cause
But
I
then it's like,
was-
yes,
Yeah, I was
yes.
late to Borderlands as well. That I had the first 2 episodes to play. So then, obviously, I had to wait ages for episode 3. I didn't care about episode 3. And now I finished episode 3 and I've had to wait ages for episode... Well, I had to wait ages for episode 4, but I haven't even downloaded episode 4. Because I've been playing other games. So I've
Yeah.
never had the urge to go and play it because I don't know what I'm playing anymore.
I get that. I'm still in the habit of, as soon as it's put up to announce, I prioritize it, and it jumps my
Yeah.
queue.
To be fair, I didn't even know episode 4 was out. That's the worst part.
Yeah, maybe we should involve Squiggy when you do the mass message of it's
Yeah.
out. We should probably.
Because
Yeah.
when I saw episode 5 was coming out, I was thinking, hang on a minute, they've skipped
Where's
episode
episode 4?
Yeah, and then
And to be fair, you know what that says? It says that you weren't even like you weren't even like miffed that it had taken so long. Like you've been like, oh, this is kind of standard.
I
You know what I mean? Like
I'm just used to it.
it's been like
Yeah,
that
that
long.
was the
You should have
thing.
been like, I should assume it's
Yeah.
out really.
so
That just says a lot.
so yeah, Telltale in the salt mine to join Konami from last week.
To be fair, Telltale shouldn't be too mad about it because we're still buying their games.
Yeah, yeah.
We're just moaning about doing so.
Basically, we're moaning because the games are.
They're not giving them to us quick enough.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a compliment. If I'm, it's like the most complimentary salt mine we're gonna have
Yeah.
for the
So
world.
really, I hope they enjoy their time in the salt mine because they've deserved it.
They can sit there smugly looking at Konami.
Yeah, they're gonna buy our
Konami are
games.
never coming out. They're never coming
Yeah,
out.
Telltale could come out eventually, but we'll see.
With good behaviour.
Yeah.
We're talk.
They get
Yes.
half the time. So, our last section of the week is the top 50 list. So, last week we put a game in the top 50 list, and I can't remember that game off the top of my head.
Time Splitters Future
Time
Perfect.
Splitters
Time Splitters
See?
I think it was
Future
Time
Perfect.
Splitters Future Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Time Splitters Future Perfect.
I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't put in because of my argument, and I know that now. I wasn't prepared, so the next time I do one, I will be prepared. But I'm having faith in whoever's stepping up right now is prepared.
It will be a 5-page essay titled "Why Saints Row Should Be in the Top 50."
I will
And I
even
left
be
proof
like,
of
I
it.
think we should do this nomination live on Twitch because I have a picture presentation, models, and just everything. I
So-
have a Saints Row jacket which I could use in my
Oh my
presentation.
God.
That's not the point.
Oh my
Continue.
God. So,
You-
I'm just going to blank Laura's last 5 seconds out of my head there. And so my nomination for the top 50 list is Bioshock. So, who can, well, me and Mike, because me and Mike leading to the
I
play.
played it, right? I was hyped when that game come out. Bioshock 2, I could not even have an opinion on. But Bioshock 1, I did play a fair amount
So
of.
Bioshock 1, I remember being absolutely hyped for it, and I remember the opening cutscene, which is one of my favourite openings in video game history. The way it all opens and you go, you start in the plane crash in the middle of the ocean. I thought it was a cutscene. It looked that good.
I tell you, there is something about that. I just want to ask you a question before you went on. Because this was at an age when you got excited for the demos, right? Because there was a demo came out, people downloaded it.
Yeah,
And Bioshock had a demo.
Yeah.
Was the demo the opening bit?
I didn't play the
When
demo.
because I
I
swear
didn't
they started the open bit was the whole demo, which is why it took away from it.
Yeah,
I wanna
I
say, 'cause
didn't
that
play the demo
bit.
because I was that.
Oh, okay. Continue then.
So after that you go in and explore Rapture, and the atmosphere in the game is outstanding. The soundtrack to the game is outstanding. The actual gameplay is pretty good. It's a mixture of
I was gonna say, if you say outstanding,
no, it's
I
not.
swear
It's
to
the
God,
game. The gameplay is not outstanding. It's not bad. It's fully functional for
Probably aged badly. Though.
yeah. Well, I don't know because really, Infinite takes the same sort of combat, and Infinite's combat isn't bad.
It was the most criticised part about Infinite. Though.
That's because
Was the combat.
I didn't think it was that bad. But yeah, so Bioshock, you have this amazing environment called Rapture, which is it's really well detailed, well built, and then you've got the story backing it up with a few twists thrown in around there. It was something that hadn't, to be fair, it was something that hadn't been done for a very long time back then.
Mm.
I don't think anyone can argue that. I hope they can't because I've got nothing else to say on that matter. And
I'm
then,
just trying to think of what the games came out.
and then you had obviously the different styles of environments to take down different enemies. So if you had your plasmids, which was an electric one, there was a guy on a puddle, you could use your electric plasmid on the puddle to electrocute the guy, and then you could shoot him while he was busy fizzing away. I like that. That's a good.
I appreciate the sound effect.
And things like that. So you could also sort of combine two of them together as well, and then you had obviously your weapons on one side, your plasmas on the other, so it was a good way to combine things, and it made every fight different. You could plan it different ways, you could do different things with it, you could use the environment to your advantage as well as just using your plasmids and your weapons at the same time. I mean, the boss at the end sort of did ruin the game. That was the worst part, but I thought the rest of the game was outstanding, and it's still one of my favorite games to play.
I'd probably go one further and go, the game is amazing up until the final parts. Not even just the final boss, just
This
the
final
last
sort,
stretch of the
yeah,
game is a
yeah,
bit. Mm,
yeah. But I think the rest of the game makes up for it.
yeah.
I
like
I kind of like see your point on this. Like, I'm looking at my trophies and progress. I did get further than I thought. Um, see, Bioshock's a hard one because
You didn't play it.
no, I did play it. That's my point. I did play it. It's more the fact that I remember being so hyped for it, so hyped that I downloaded the demo. I really remember playing the demo and being like, yes, like 100 times yes, and talking to myself apparently because that seems weird.
yes.
Yes. And then I just remember it not living up to what I wanted it to be.
Is that because it wasn't Saints Row?
Yeah, to be it needed more Saints Row gangster charm. That's what it was. No, because I hadn't had Saints Row in my life at this point. So
Back when you were normal.
back
My
when I was
main
more nice.
my main memory of Bioshock was I remember having two experience of it. I started it when I first bought it on launch, and it scared me too much, so I didn't finish it.
I remember preparing myself to be scared, so I started playing it in daytime lights, and then I realised it wasn't scary. I
Yeah.
played it.
I think the game is like a masterclass in horror, especially at the beginning. Like just that beginning where you're going down in the elevator and then the splicers are outside.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
god,
it's
it's
when,
lit.
yeah.
Oh
But
gosh.
the part that got it for me is when you go down in that bathysphere, that's what it was called. Bathysphere.
Yeah.
And you go down and you see it like the whole world of Rapture open up as you go down. And that was, to be fair for me, that's one of the most, like, it's one of those moments that I remember in games. Just going down, you go into the lighthouse, you go down in the bathysphere, and then it opens up into this massive world, and it looks incredible, and you can see, you can see different things happening in the different parts of Rapture as you go through it, and you sort of think, oh, I wouldn't mind going to visit there, and you obviously do visit there at some point, but then you realize that you
Yeah.
don't want to visit there later on. And I
No.
think as well, the storytelling of the game, with all the different tapes that you could pick up and listen to as well, that give you a backstory to it. I think that was probably one of the first times it was done in a game like that.
I think so actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd probably say that. That seems fair. I would say that that was definitely one of the games that had the atmosphere, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
Like, even though nothing was actually like when the first bit, there's a lot of. Well, this is I'm going on what I remember. There was a lot of walking around with no enemies for the first little opening bit, but then there was a lot of enemies.
yeah. You were always because you never knew what
Alone,
to
you kind
expect.
of alone,
Yeah,
but that just added to the tension because you kept thinking something was gonna. That might be me. But I always thought something was about to come out of nowhere, so it kind of made me a bit edgy and
yeah.
suspicious,
I'll never forget the
which made
time.
the
Yeah,
atmosphere. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like I'm walking through everything slowly, and I could have actually just run through that room with
yeah,
no
yeah,
problem, but I'm walking in it really slowly, looking around like, oh god, there's got to be something here.
yeah. I'll never
You
forget
know?
the time that I think it's right near the start, and you come out, and you've only got your spanner, and it looks like a woman pushing a baby in the buggy. And so
Hmm.
you go, being the investigating person I am, you go up to have a look at it, and it turns out it's actually a splicer, and the splicer attacks you. And
Yeah.
I'll never forget that moment as well. And I think there
That
was so
that
many.
game has so many jump scares.
Yeah,
Which is like the ultimate scare for me, to be
I think
honest.
it's one of those games though where it did a lot of stuff right, a lot more stuff right than wrong in a first person
I
Yeah.
shooter.
I should probably I've been meaning I probably should be playing this game and giving it a
Yeah,
go.
I was about to say I have memories of the game, but like nothing detailed.
Yeah.
Like I can remember the overall.
You remember the feeling rather than the actual game.
Yeah, but I can't remember like specific. Like I remember because when I'm trying to think of the gameplay, I just remembered that like there was a whole mechanic where you had to take pictures of the splicers to like
Oh, I remember that part, yeah.
reveal their like weaknesses or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was always so frantic, like doing it in the middle of combat, like
That's where
taking a
you
photo
use
of
the
it as they're running
plasmids.
towards you. To freeze them and then take
Yeah,
a photo.
exactly. Or you freeze them and then let them, and I think you hit them with the fire one so they melt, like the defrost, and then you take a picture of the defrosted. See? There's so many ways to go about it.
But yeah, no. So I remember like mainly playing it and then stopping because I was too scared. But I went back to it a few years later, and when I was a bit older, because I was only 14 when it came out, and no wonder it scared the crap out of
Showing
me.
your age.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh well, just saying.
But has anyone got a reason why it shouldn't go for the top 50?
Slazo, you've been quiet.
I have barely played it, so I have no opinions one way or the other.
The only reason why I would vote against it, which I can't reveal whether I'm doing that yet because we haven't got to the voting process. The only thing I said is, like I said, I remember being very hyped for it, and I just remember it not holding my attention, which you can say is on me before you all snap at me,
I was about to say.
right? But there is a certain point where I just didn't maybe enjoy the gameplay as much as I should have. So once the atmosphere wore off, I kind of lost my interest. Number one.
The only reason I'd have to vote against it is the ending, but like you said, I think the rest of it.
Yeah, that's the one reason
makes
that
sense.
would stop me from. That was one reason that was stopping me from nominating it at one point. But then I thought, well, the rest of the game is so
The
good.
ending did ruin the experience for you.
No,
it's not
the
like a
ending-
How I Met Your Mother theory here.
It was.
That's right.
The thing is, the ending was
You're right, Mike.
disappointing. You know how a lot of people complain about the Mass Effect 3 ending. It was a little bit like that, but I suppose you weren't as invested into the universe because obviously Mass Effect was 3 games
I was
worth.
gonna say it wasn't like hundreds upon hundreds of hours
Yeah, that's the thing.
for that.
So it wasn't as big a deal. 'Cause
Once again, like How I Met Your Mother.
the game was
Just
actually.
saying.
Let it go, Laura. Let it go.
So I think to round this off, we'll go with a vote, and it's a yes from me.
It's a yes from me.
Laura,
It's a yes from me.
Slazo,
Can I abstain?
yes.
Yes, you can.
So,
I
so
abstain.
Bioshock, you have
Yes,
3 yeses. You've made it to the top 50, and I'll see
Woo.
you at the judge's house.
So does it go above or below Time Splitters?
Above.
No, let's not do this. Let's not do this.
No, but working from the bottom, so Time Splitters is 50, Bioshock's 49.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Why do you think I'm waiting to nominate Metal Gear Solid until I've got one left?
It doesn't work like that.
It won't be your turn.
Stop it,
No.
Squiggy. I think Darren should probably do next week's.
But that'll be revealed next week.
Yeah, why are you giving away all our
Spoilers.
I'm giving it away. I'm giving it away
Spoilers.
because they might. You never know. Darren might have a secret fan base.
Nah.
Darren has fans.
We love you,
The
Darren.
only
Thanks
fans
for
he's got
listening
is
to
on his
this.
computer.
Way.
Well, so that was a good place to finish there. So this was the second ever episode of the Party Chat podcast. As usual, I am your host Squiggy. Thanks for listening.